Welcome, dear listeners, to a perplexing case, a true anomaly that defied all expectations and twisted the threads of justice in an almost unbelievable fashion. Our story unfolds in the ancient city of Kaifeng, a venerable capital of 8 dynasties, nestled in the eastern reaches of Hunan province. Kaifeng. The very name conjures images of the legendary Bao Zheng, Lord Bao, and his esteemed Kaifeng prefecture. During the reign of Emperor Renzong of the northern Song dynasty, Bao Zheng, a scholar of the Longtu Pavilion, served at the Kaifeng prefecture, where he dispensed justice with unwavering integrity, fairness, and a steadfast dedication to the common people. His reputation, a beacon of honesty and righteousness, spread far and wide throughout Chinese society. A city steeped in mystery, Kaifeng was destined to harbor tales as bizarre as they were unimaginable. It was December 14, 2012, a date etched in the memory of Shilipo Village, Jolo Town, Kaifeng County, Kaifeng City. The tranquil suburban village, usually hushed by the night, was shattered by the sudden, ferocious roar of a fire. The flames erupted late at night, and the inferno's remote location meant that the Kaifeng County Fire Department, upon receiving the urgent call, took a grueling 40 minutes to reach the blazing scene. The heart of the conflagration was the Gao family residence, nestled in the northwest corner of Shilipo village. 5 rooms stood within the courtyard, yet by the time firefighters arrived, 3 were already reduced to smoldering ruins. A villager, the one who had made the frantic call, recalled spotting the blaze around 11 p.m., though the exact moment of ignition remained a chilling enigma. The fire was so intense, so consuming, that it raged until approximately 2 a.m. the following morning before finally succumbing to the relentless efforts of the firefighters. Darkness still cloaked the land, illuminated only by the faint glimmer of moonlight, forcing the firefighters to wait until dawn to begin their meticulous investigation of the scene. Local police, arriving swiftly after the flames were quelled, immediately cordoned off the area. Little did they know, amidst the acrid smoke and charred remains, lay a shocking secret, one that would send shivers down their spines. Initial investigations quickly identified the homeowner as Gao Wenchang, a 51-year-old native of Kaifeng County, Kaifeng City, Hunan Province. Yet, Gao Wenchang wasn't living in that house. For years, he had been working at a construction site in Beijing. His daughter and son, too, had sought livelihoods elsewhere. Typically, only Gao Wenchang's wife, Guo Wenxiang, resided there. But here was the first chilling anomaly. As the last embers died down, Guo Wenxiang remained conspicuously absent. Through the Shilipo village committee, police swiftly contacted Gao Wenchang. Overwhelmed with dread upon hearing of the fire, he immediately boarded a train, journeying through the night to return home. Throughout his frantic journey, he ceaselessly dialed his wife's number, but each attempt was met with the dreaded silence of a disconnected phone. A cold premonition gripped Gao Wenchang's heart. As dawn broke, casting an eerie glow on the devastation, firefighters began their grim task of examining the burnt-out shell of the house. Within the 3 incinerated rooms, furniture and appliances were so utterly consumed that their original forms were unrecognizable. Large sections of the walls, weakened by the intense heat, had crumbled away. Preliminary on-site investigations revealed that the 3rd room on the left side of the courtyard, Guo Wenxiang's bedroom, had suffered the most severe damage. According to villagers, Gao Wenchang's daughter, Gao Lichuan, was set to marry on the 9th day of the 12th lunar month. Therefore, Guo Wenxiang had prepared a dowry, including bedding and quilts, storing these highly flammable items in her room. After the fire, not a trace of these items remained. It was in Guo Wenxiang's bedroom that police and firefighters encountered a gruesome spectacle. There, amidst the ashes, lay the charred remains of a female body, completely carbonized. Firefighters described that when the body was discovered, most of it had been consumed, leaving only about 80 centimeters of skin on the back somewhat intact. Though the body was unrecognizable, its discovery in Guo Wenxiang's bedroom immediately raised suspicions that it was indeed her. To confirm the victim's identity, forensic technicians from the Kaifeng County Criminal Police extracted DNA from the remains and conducted an analysis, comparing it to samples from Guo Wenxiang's relatives. The results confirmed their grim hypothesis: the victim of the fire was indeed Guo Wenxiang. But what had ignited this bizarre blaze? And why had Guo Wenxiang, seemingly trapped, perished in the inferno? The Kaifeng police decided to transport Guo Wenxiang's remains to the police bureau for a more thorough examination. What they uncovered next was truly astonishing. As the fire raged, many villagers living near Guo Wenxiang's home had rushed to help extinguish the flames. Afterwards, many offered their own theories about the cause of the fire. Some speculated that old televisions, computers, or faulty wiring in Guo Wenxiang's bedroom might have caused a short circuit, leading to the conflagration. Others theorized that a malfunctioning electric blanket on Guo Wenxiang's bed might have electrocuted her first, then ignited, setting the entire room ablaze. Generally, the villagers' conjectures were consistent. They all believed that Guo Wenxiang had accidentally caused the fire through negligence with fire or electricity, leading to the tragedy. The village sighed in collective sorrow, reminding each other to be cautious with fire and electricity. However, as the investigation deepened, Kaifeng police began to suspect that this strange late-night fire was not as simple as the villagers had assumed. The first point of contention was the cause of the fire itself. After thoroughly inspecting the electrical circuits in the room, firefighters conclusively ruled out an electrical leak as the cause. Furthermore, in the 3 rooms affected by the fire, no traces of a stove or open flame were found. This led them to surmise that the likelihood of someone using an open flame and causing the fire was low. After a meticulous examination of all 3 rooms, firefighters confirmed that Guo Wenxiang's bedroom was indeed the origin of the fire. Inside, police discovered residual traces of Guo Wenxiang. This led them to infer that when Guo Wenxiang was consumed by the flames, she was likely lying on her bed. Beneath her body, they even found some unburnt remnants of bed sheets. This suggested that during the fire, Guo Wenxiang might have been lying on the bed, and her body showed no signs of movement or struggle, even as the entire bedboard burned. Further investigation by the police revealed that the door leading from Guo Wenxiang's bedroom to the courtyard was only about 4 to 5 meters away. Assuming a fire broke out while Guo Wenxiang was asleep in her bedroom, she would have had ample time to escape the room and flee to the courtyard before the flames grew larger. Yet, Guo Wenxiang, that fateful night, showed absolutely no indication of hurried movement or attempts to escape. Then came the forensic report, delivering a crucial and highly grounded conclusion. Based on the state of Guo Wenxiang's stomach, forensic experts estimated her time of death to be approximately half an hour after her last meal. According to villager Luo Xiaomai, Guo Wenxiang had eaten dinner at her house that chaotic night, then walked home. From this, Kaifeng police deduced that even if Guo Wenxiang had gone to sleep immediately upon returning home, she would likely not have fallen into a deep sleep within half an hour. What's more, the forensic examination found no smoke in Guo Wenxiang's trachea, making it unequivocally clear that she did not die from the fire that late night. Various pieces of evidence indicated that Guo Wenxiang had not perished in the inferno. It was possible, even probable, that she had already lost her life before the fire began. However, due to the extreme carbonization of her body, forensic doctors were, for the time being, unable to pinpoint the exact cause of Guo Wenxiang's death. To unravel the true nature of the incident, Kaifeng police initiated an investigation into Guo Wenxiang's social connections. Her husband, Gao Wenchang, informed them that his wife, Guo Wenxiang, was 47 years old, in good health, and suffered from no serious illnesses. With her husband and children working away from home year-round, Guo Wenxiang single-handedly managed all the household affairs. Despite her age and solitary life, she diligently cultivated 67 mu of corn and meticulously cared for hundreds of rabbits. According to villagers, the Gao Wenchang family was quite well off, considered one of the wealthiest families in the village. Consequently, when not busy with farm work, Guo Wenxiang often gathered with a few close female neighbors to play mahjong and discuss family life. Although she lived alone, without the companionship of her husband or children, her rural life was rather leisurely and comfortable. Her neighbors recalled playing mahjong with Guo Wenxiang on the afternoon of the incident. At that time, they noticed no unusual behavior or expressions from her. In the evening, Guo Wenxiang even won a few games, then went out to buy wine and food, and they all dined together. Afterwards, everyone dispersed and returned home. Confronted with his ruined home and the sudden, inexplicable death of his wife, Gao Wenchang was consumed by an unbearable grief, unable to find a moment's rest. The revelation that his wife's sudden demise was not an accident but a sinister act fueled his desperate need to uncover the identity of the ruthless individual who had murdered her, set the fire, and buried her body in the flames. Knowing that Guo Wenxiang lived alone and her family was financially prosperous, Kaifeng police decided to focus their investigation on two primary avenues: murder for love, or murder for money. Though most of Guo Wenxiang's room contents were destroyed, the police made a crucial discovery in the courtyard. On the western side of the courtyard, they found several small, fresh bloodstains. DNA analysis confirmed the blood belonged to Guo Wenxiang. The items in the courtyard were neatly arranged, and no bloodstains from anyone other than Guo Wenxiang were found. From this, Kaifeng police hypothesized that before the fire erupted, Guo Wenxiang might have been attacked by the culprit in the courtyard. The absence of extensive struggle suggested the perpetrator had easily subdued Guo Wenxiang. Furthermore, technical personnel observed the trajectory of the blood on the ground, uncovering additional clues. The initial blood droplets were relatively large and star-shaped, spreading forward. This pattern occurs when a person moves forward due to inertia, causing small blood droplets to follow their motion, falling and forming an elongated star shape. From this, police concluded that, before the fire, Guo Wenxiang had moved from the western side of the courtyard to her bedroom in the north. It was clear that she had been injured and bleeding before entering her bedroom. It was even possible that, after her death, her body had been dragged into the room by another person. However, the exact cause of Guo Wenxiang's injury or death remained elusive. Yet, they did find several human footprints on the outer wall of the courtyard. While no biological samples could be extracted, police suspected these footprints might belong to the killer, left behind as they entered or exited the scene. Alongside this, interrogations and surveys of villagers yielded virtually no leads. A few neighbors described Guo Wenxiang as honest and easygoing, stating she had never been involved in any conflicts or disputes. Her husband, Gao Wenchang, also confirmed that their family had no financial disputes or debts with anyone. In summary, the likelihood of a robbery-homicide seemed low. So, could Guo Wenxiang have been embroiled in a romantic dispute? To delve deeper into Guo Wenxiang's social connections, police obtained her mobile phone call records. The results were startling. On the night of the incident, Guo Wenxiang's phone had made 3 calls to the same number. Police quickly identified the owner of this number as Gao Bao, a 28-year-old resident of Shilipo village, Kaifeng County, and a cousin of Guo Wenxiang's husband, Gao Wenchang. Logically, it was normal for relatives to call each other occasionally. However, the nature of these 3 calls between Gao Bao and Guo Wenxiang was undeniably strange. First, according to the forensic autopsy report, Guo Wenxiang's time of death was approximately half an hour after dinner. Luo Xiaomai's testimony placed Guo Wenxiang's dinner at her house around 6:30 p.m. Thus, Guo Wenxiang's approximate time of death was around 7 p.m. on the night of the incident. However, the calls to Gao Bao were made after 9 p.m. This timeframe was nearly 2 hours after the forensic report indicated Guo Wenxiang's death. What further perplexed the police was that of Guo Wenxiang's 3 most recent calls, 2 were incoming calls from Gao Bao. The first call was at 9:04 p.m. Although connected, the call lasted only 7 seconds. The second call was at 9:05 p.m. Gao Bao called Guo Wenxiang again, but this time, Guo Wenxiang did not answer. Gao Bao continued to call Guo Wenxiang at 9:08 p.m. This time, Guo Wenxiang answered, and the conversation lasted 23 seconds. These 3 peculiar calls were truly baffling. Why, after Guo Wenxiang's death, would her mobile phone call Gao Bao? Could the forensic doctor's autopsy results be mistaken? Was Guo Wenxiang still alive after 9 p.m.? To rule out any error, forensic experts decided to re-examine Guo Wenxiang's stomach for a second time. Finally, they reached a crucial conclusion. Based on the degree of food digestion in Guo Wenxiang's stomach, experts inferred that the margin of error for her time of death was between 7 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. This meant that Guo Wenxiang's approximate time of death did not extend beyond the late evening of December 14th. The perplexing question remained: who had taken Guo Wenxiang's mobile phone, after her death, and called Gao Bao? Police began to interrogate Gao Bao. His testimony, however, brought to light an unexpected issue, throwing the police force into disarray. In the interrogation room, police asked Gao Bao if he had called Guo Wenxiang on the night of the incident. Gao Bao, however, steadfastly denied any contact that night. He claimed to have arrived promptly after discovering the fire and participated in the firefighting efforts. Police then seized Gao Bao's mobile phone for examination. The results showed no call records on his phone for that day. However, when the telecommunications company provided its data, 3 calls between Gao Bao and Guo Wenxiang appeared. This raised suspicions that Gao Bao might have deleted his call history. If this were true, he would be a prime suspect in the case. Therefore, police continued to demand that the telecommunications company provide the call list in front of Gao Bao. At this point, Gao Bao's composure crumbled, and he finally admitted that on the night of the incident, he had received a call from Guo Wenxiang's mobile phone. However, there was no sound from the phone. Gao Bao had hung up and called back, but this time, no one answered. About 3 minutes later, he called Guo Wenxiang's phone again. This time, the call was answered. Gao Bao stated that he had exchanged a few words with Guo Wenxiang before the call ended. Gao Bao's contradictory statements left the police utterly bewildered. According to the telecommunications company's records, the calls between Gao Bao and Guo Wenxiang occurred after her death. This unequivocally proved that Guo Wenxiang could not have been conversing on the phone. Police began to believe that Gao Bao was attempting to conceal something unspeakable. Consequently, they continued to exert pressure on him throughout the interrogation. After 2 hours of intense questioning, a breakthrough emerged in the case. Gao Bao finally confessed to his entire crime. He admitted to being the one who killed Guo Wenxiang. Gao Bao then recounted the details of his heinous act. According to his confession, around 7 p.m. on the night of the incident, Gao Bao had walked past Guo Wenxiang's house, entered, and chatted for a while. However, during their conversation, Guo Wenxiang uttered extremely offensive words. Gao Bao recalled that Guo Wenxiang had mocked him about finding a wife. She had said that he would find it very difficult to get married, and sarcastically remarked that people would leave him shortly after marriage. In early 2012, Gao Bao, then 28, had been introduced by 3 villagers and married an outsider. However, in less than 6 months, Gao Bao's marriage unexpectedly ended in divorce. Many rumors circulated in the village about the reason for the divorce. A reclusive and introverted individual, Gao Bao harbored a secret flaw that was difficult to express. Therefore, he often avoided any discussions among villagers. But Guo Wenxiang, a fellow villager, relentlessly touched upon these matters that Gao Bao found incredibly sensitive and hard to discuss.